This week on our slow journey, Andy gets the zoomies, I make some demands in between the posies, and we celebrate Pi Day.
We're hiking and biking and seeing all the sights, and you should join us on our slow journey.
Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning. Today is March 10th. Yep, March 10th. It's a Monday.
Yeah.
Yesterday we told you, found BLM camping. The first attempt we had was unsuccessful because the road was just like so muddy and rutted and not great, and we didn't want to get stuck.
Yeah.
So we turned around, and then we found a nice one that's just kind of like a gravel lot, and it worked great. So we had a good campsite, and then this morning we are camping, tonight we're camping in Zion again, so we figured we would come in and do the Canyon Overlook Trail, which is right before the mile-long tunnel. We found out that it's a mile, which is pretty long. So yeah, we're on the Canyon Overlook Trail. It was mostly uphill, but it was absolutely worth it.
Very much so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is the Canyon Overlook. You can kind of maybe see the switchbacks. Do you mind putting it into 2x? Thank you. So this is the Canyon Overlook. You can kind of maybe see the switchbacks down there, which is how you get into Zion Canyon. The walls over there have different varying names. The most creepy one is that one, which kind of looks like it's blood streaked and it's like flat, and that one's called the altar of sacrifice, which is pretty creepy. And then this one over here that's like streaky is called the wall of streaks, which is pretty standard, I guess.
Didn't change his underwear.
Oh my god. So I know some of the other ones have names, but I don't recall them. But yeah, it's gorgeous. Now it's time for snacks.
I'm sorry if you can hear me eating.
Hi. Hello. We are on the Riverwalk Trail. It is later the same day. We have our last full day here in Zion National Park, unless we decide to extend it again. We'll see. But thankfully, we got a campground for tonight, so we'll be able to just hang around the park more and not worry about where we're going to be sleeping. And right now, we are right along the Virgin River, further down the canyon than we were yesterday, and it is absolutely beautiful. This trail brings you to another trail called the Narrows, which basically you're walking in the river almost the entire time, if not the entire time.
We're not sure.
Yeah, we're not sure, but it sounds really cool and something that will probably be on our bucket list to do again in the future.
I'm gonna look into it, and I want to maybe try to do it tomorrow.
We'll see. But it would be really cool because even just walking along the river is really pretty, so I can't even imagine walking in the canyon, in the river at the same time.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
nuts.
We'll see. But like I said, we're just kind of wandering around the Virgin River and seeing more of the Zion National Park Canyon area. And yeah, exploring. See you later. again.
Yo.
We finished with the river walk. Well, let me start over. We got finished with the river walk trail and we took the bus down a stop to a place that makes us feel like we're back in Texas, but we're not. It is called
Big Bend.
And as one could
surmise,
it's because the river does a big bend. And because of that, there's also a really cool part of the canyon that just makes it feel like we're in a bit of a circle almost. So you can kind of see like it starts back there and then it just works its way around.
As a bend does.
As a bend does. And another fun fact is this right here. That edge is called, oh my gosh.
Right where Hannah's brim is.
Yeah.
Right there.
It's called Angel's Landing, and that is a very intense climb.
It's a very not for Andy and Hannah type of hike.
Yeah. And basically you take a hike called Scout's Landing that is free to the public. Anybody can do it. And it takes you to a cool overlook. But if you want to continue, you have to have a permit onto Angel's Landing. And the rest of that basically is just you scaling along the edge of a cliff, holding onto chains, getting to that point. So I think we would maybe not do that, but Scout's Landing maybe in the future, but it's also very intense, so probably in future in
Just because of height concerns. And Andy's a little baby.
But it is cool to see from down here, and the river is flowing gorgeously. So.
But this is a cool. This is a cool spot because there are a lot of California condors that can be seen here, and that's why we're here. And what's a cool thing about a California condor?
They're rare.
It's the largest bird in the world.
I do think that their nests are around here, but so it's more likely for you to see it here if you are to come in the future, but it's probably dependent on the time of day, and we are here in the afternoon, which usually isn't the best time to bird, but that's just kind of how things shook out. So
yeah, we'll see. We might be here for a while. Hi, here's a little nighttime routine that we sometimes do after we've gathered tons and tons of stickers. We have 6 right now that we need to put on. You wanna take and show?
So, oh wait, we actually have 5 because there was 2 sequoias. I think this one's for my book, and then this one's gonna be for the back somewhere. And now we figure out where we're gonna put them.
Sticked. Getting our bibs on.
Getting tucked into his
Bib.
bib. Look at your little shoesies.
Nice.
You might be a little big.
Is that too big for you? We could tighten up the straps. Oh my gosh. We did it. Bibbed up. Hi.
Hello.
We decided to do it.
We're doing the Narrows.
We're on the trail that brings us to the Narrows. So we'll see you when we're there.
Hello everybody. It is March 11th And as you can see, we are in a canyon. I am wearing gaiters, and so is Andy. We've kind of been talking about it already, but we are doing the Narrows hike in Zion National Park. And it is a bit cold, but it's so cool. Like we're just gonna be walking down the river steadily, and we'll see how far we can get. Typically you go like 4.5 miles and then you turn back, but we'll see what we can do. It's gorgeous no matter what.
Coming out of the deepest bit. I'm glad we sprung for the waterproof backpack rental. Hi.
We are 1.5 miles in to the Narrows hike, and it is wild.
This is one of the coolest things ever.
It's just going straight through the canyon, and it feels like you're becoming one with water, seeing like how it rips through and makes the canyon become possible. And we're just going with it. We've been going upstream this whole time for 1.5 miles, and now we've chosen to go back and turn around.
We're heading out of the area today, so if we had a bit more time, I think we might try to go further, but that's not the case. But this is definitely back on the bucket list of like making it to, I think there's like a springs in about 1 mile or something like that. So, yeah. But what this kind of reminds me of is when we were in Guadalupe National Park. It reminds me of the river wash that we hiked up then. Completely dry, but we were hiking up a bunch of big boulders and river, like dried out river. So this is kind of reminding me of that, which is really cool.
Except much more wet.
Yeah, it's much more wet. So,
but so fun.
Eat some sandwiches and then head back.
Yep. See ya.
Bye. Hi. Just a little update. We're getting close to being done, getting back down to the trail. Anything to add?
I look like a farmer.
Yeah, you kind of do. Got your rake, your overalls. What are you farming?
Beautiful views.
Ooh, I like it. Back to the deep area. We survived.
We're at the end.
Back on solid ground, and neither of us fell.
Neither of us fell. I'm proud of us.
Very. First time Hannah has ever washed my feet. Gasket keeping the water from outside of our pants, and they're super fun to get off. So you want to be rinsed down now?
Yes, please.
I shall return the favor.
In between the posies.
Yes, ma'am. Good. Okay. Can you turn it off?
Hello. It is March 12th. Last time we saw you, we were deep in the river. And now
Quite literally.
Yeah, quite literally. And now we are in Bryce Canyon National Park. There's a little chipmunk behind me, so Andy is taking a picture of that. And the canyon is very beautiful. As you can see, all the red rocks. We are in the canyon right now. Technically on the Queen's Garden Trail, and you start by going on the Navajo Loop and then kind of down some switchbacks, which are really pretty.
To pass the two bridges.
Yep, past the two bridges, and then now we're gonna see the Queen's Garden here in a little bit. So we'll show you some cool structures, and then we're camping at the campground here tonight, and then heading out. It's just gonna be a quick trip. So
Yep. Because it's gonna be cold.
It's gonna be cold and snowy.
Yeah.
So we'll see you there.
Bye. That was terrible.
It was a bit brutal, but we did it. Hello everybody.
Hi.
Today is March 14th and we are in Capitol Reef National Park. Today is also Pi Day and we kind of stumbled into the very perfect national park for Pi Day. Do you want to tell them why?
Yeah, super random, but Capitol Reef is home to the Gifford House, which was a colony started by some Mormons back in 1880. They had a village of about 10 families, and they were completely self-sustained in this area. So they had a bunch of orchards. They were known for growing delicious fruit, peaches, apples, berries, and what they still have in the national park is this Gifford House. They still make handmade pies, and today is opening day, Pi Day. So, first thing this morning, what we had to do was go to the Gifford House, grab some pie, obviously. What do we get?
We got an apple pie and a peach pie, but we're saving it for later.
Yeah, and maybe after lunch or something.
Yeah.
But we also got some locally roasted coffee beans, which I'm excited to try.
Me too.
And we got a silly sticker as well. What does it say? I can't.
Put it in your pie hole.
Yeah. So that might be one of our favorite stickers to put on the back of the drawers. So, yeah.
And we are at Hickman Bridge Trail. So right there is Hickman Bridge. Andy's posing right in front of it.
I'm a poser.
It is a nice and easy hike up to see the natural bridge, and it kind of reminds us of the natural bridges in Kentucky and other places we've been to.
Like really
Yeah.
really similar.
Yeah.
Even size-wise, it's probably like around the same size as some of the other ones that we've seen and walked over and stuff like that.
Yeah, and we're about to see a lot of arches because we're headed towards Canyonlands and Arches National Park next week. So we will see a bunch of them, but this is kind of more of a natural bridge because I think it's a bit like more of a bridge structure versus an arch.
Yeah, it's a bit more flat.
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah. Versus like up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So pretty cool. And we are just here for one more night. We got here yesterday and it was a lovely gloomy day. We didn't do anything because we were just kind of stuck in the car with the rain and the wind. And
yeah, it was spitting off and on.
Yeah. So hopefully tonight is better.
I think we would have almost preferred the snow.
Oh, 100%. I would rather the snow. Yeah.
Which we got.
We did get. We got
in
yesterday,
Bryce.
Or 2 days ago.
We woke up. Yeah. Again, we weren't expecting it. The forecast wasn't calling for it, but we woke up to a decent amount of snow all over Sylvester. So.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
I would rather snow than rain, but hopefully we just don't see any precipitation for a while.
Yeah, we will, but
I can hope. At least I can enjoy the sun for now.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll catch you later.
Hi.
Hello.
It is Saturday, March 15th, and we are just outside of Capitol Reef National Park, headed to Moab.
And we'll be doing Canyonlands tomorrow. But we wanted to give a little update on what Capitol Reef means, because when we were going to Capitol Reef, we were like, oh,
what?
why is it called Capitol Reef when it's in the middle of the desert? And also, why Capitol? Couple reasons for that. As we've learned with many of the desert parks we've gone to, is that it used to be full of water. And, millions of years ago, the water dissipated and the tectonic plates were moving, all the usual history stuff. But because of that, there was uplift, which caused these intense cliffs to be formed. And one of them was a more rounded shape. So when people were coming through, early settlers, they looked at it and they were like, oh, that kind of looks like the Capitol building, the U.S. Capitol building. And I guess we can kind of see it, but
yeah,
that's why it's called Capitol. And then the reef is because similar people were looking at the cliff edges and were like, oh, that kind of looks like reef. And
the Great Barrier Reef.
Yeah. And so
the Great Barrier Reef.
That's how it was named Capitol Reef in the middle of the desert. And I guess this is also one of the lesser visited parks, but we thought it was pretty. And the views were pretty, unique, I would say, even though
it was
it's
different
similar.
all throughout the park. We would drive 10 minutes to a different area, and it would be, totally different than 10 minutes prior, which is very, very cool. So some of it was those jagged cliffs with intense drop-offs and stuff like that, but some of it was more what's behind us here, which is really, really neat. So there's just a lot of diversity in the landscape.
So we'll do a little day trip to Canyonlands tomorrow and show you more
we're
about
camping in Moab for a
Yep.
couple days, and then we'll tell you the rest in the next, because I don't know what week it is right now. So we'll see you tomorrow. But then you'll find out about everything else in week the next.
Perfect. Bye.
Bye.
Going inside the coolest gas station.
Happy morning.
Good morning.
It is Sunday, March 16th.
Yep.
And we are in...
Oh, hold on.
And we are in...
Canyonlands!
National Park.
And it is very clear why it's called Canyonlands. Because unlike Grand Canyon, where it's just like one massive canyon, this is just a ginormous area of canyons. And they're all different levels, and it's insane. And then
Different
there's mountains
areas.
in the back.
Yeah.
And then there's deeper canyons and little canyons and offshoot canyons. And we're on top of a mesa right now, which is kind of like another way of saying the rim, I guess. And we are on a rim trail. We're on the Grand Viewpoint Overlook Rim Trail.
It is quite grand.
It is quite grand. So I'm going to pop up here and show you a bit.
One could say it's a Grand Canyon land.
It is a Grand Canyonlands. So we'll show you more views as we wander. But say hi.
Hi.
It is very beautiful. And we'll be here for the day, exploring.
Yep. And that's all. For now.
Made it to the arch.
Yeah, Mesa Arch. Pretty views.
This is us getting here at 9 a.m. and we've been here for 15 minutes.
So fun.
Yeah. Yay, going to a really popular national park. And this is the first time we've sat in a line to enter one. So
fun. Well, we finally made it. Probably, what, like 25, 30 minutes?
Yep.
It's the longest wait we've had, but we're here.
We are officially in Arches National Park. We spent last night in Moab, well, last 2 nights. Yesterday, after exploring Canyonlands a little bit, we got to explore Moab and walked around downtown, which was quite nice. And we went into a bookstore and I got a book. But we are in Arches and we'll be staying here tonight. It is March 17th for the date.
Oh, week 26?
Oh, yeah. Week something. Hello. We welcome you to this new week, whatever it may be. But we stopped real quick, our first stop other than the visitor center and watching the movie that we love doing when we go to a national park is Balanced Rock. And you can see why it gets its name, because it's a rock balancing. Next to it was also a balanced rock called Chip Off the Old Block, but it fell over, so we don't get to see it other than this picture right here with the ranger showing some scale. And you can see the mountains in the background, and it is a beautiful area. Apparently there's 2,000 arches in Arches National Park, which is the largest concentration of arches in the US. So we'll see some and show you guys. We are now on the Double Arch Trail, and you might not even be able to see it, but it's just funny how people up on the arches look like ants. Made it to the Double Arch. You can see why it gets its name. People still looking like ants because it's so vastly big.
Very gorgeous. It's very expansive.
It is expensive.
And then you get these little pockets of arches. So
And like tall rocks as well.
that were maybe at one point arches that crumbled.
Crumbled, yeah.
So one of the things that we learned is that all of these arches eventually over time will come to an end.
Mm-hmm.
And you can almost see it with this one behind us where you can kind of see some of the
Rocks being etched out.
yes.
Yeah.
What do they call it? Degradation?
Yeah. Deconstruction.
Deconstruction.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you can kind of even see it starting with the one behind us with some deconstruction going on. So it's just a matter of time before that one starts to fall. But a lot of these pillars used to be arches themselves.
Yeah. The video said that like arches have a lifespan. It kept saying that over and over again. Like, the arches have a lifespan just like humans.
The window of time.
Yeah.
That's what it was saying.
That's what it was called, yeah.
Yeah. But
very
the double arches that we were at a little bit earlier, they kind of speculate that those used to just be puddles in the rock. And over time, those puddles wore down and down and down and down and down, and they became the double arch.
So cool, because now you can just see how like huge the arches are. I mean, like I was showing you, the people literally look like ants because of how big it is. So
Yeah.
the idea of it being a small puddle and then turning into that is pretty cool.
Super duper.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's it.
Quite windy and gloomy, but also making the most of it. We'll be headed to camp and making some lunch here in a minute, and then seeing what we can get into. We're a bit hungry. Just kidding, that's the south window. And that is the turret arch.
It's still spring break somehow. And I still hate it. There are so many freaking people here. It's the worst thing in the world.
After some lunch and a little nappy nap,
I'm still cranky.
we're back out. We're just doing the Sand Dune Arch Trail now, and it's kind of cool. I think he's broken.
Where's the reset button? Turn off.
This is what the arch looks like when there's not a bunch of kids calling around. Gotta get proof if you fall. Like that trap.
Effortless. Hi. We are just a few steps away from our campsite.
Few steps upward.
Yeah. And we are hanging out, waiting for sunset, which is a bit promising. We got some nice clouds in the sky, so hopefully it's gorgeous. So that is the end of week 26. It was a bit of a short one. We are currently driving up to Salt Lake City to take a week off, get some rest and relaxation before we hit the road. So we will see you in week 27 in the Bonneville Salt Flats.